Between Memorial Day weekend and the end of June, we had plenty of time to use our dining passes at Kings Island. Hey folks, welcome to the Down the Road Travel Channel. My name is Will Van Winkle. Aside from familiar places you can find anywhere such as Panda Express, Auntie Annie's Pretzels, Cinnabon, and Starbucks, there were plenty of places to try. And when we went back at the end of June to Kings Island, we just happened to get there while the Food and Wine Festival was in full swing. We walked through the area for the Food and Wine Festival, which is actually very small compared to some of the other festivals that I've seen at other places. I counted 4 booths with pretty much the same items at each one, maybe an additional item per individual booth. The Food and Wine Festival was not covered on the dining plan and doesn't appear to be on the snack plan. So we didn't try anything there. Plus, it was hot while we were there. So it was kind of a bad idea to drink. And I'm no wine drinker anyway, so we just took a quick look and went on our way. One place that everybody seemed to agree on, and Dana and I ate at a couple of times, was Enrique's Cantina. Kind of like a Moe's, Blue Coast, or Chipotle. The first time we went, I had the steak burrito, which was a bit tough, not that great. Next time I went and got the chicken burrito, it was much better. You get to add up to 5 toppings, and guacamole and queso, of course, are extra. We found portions are very generous throughout the park's dining options. If you read the comments on Kings Island's Facebook group, they say portions are small. Not from what I experienced. I could not finish a single meal there. I'm not exactly a small guy. So I don't know who was saying this very small portions, but I found it to be very generous. The next place we tried was the Jukebox Diner. Simple burger joint, also serves milkshakes, Eisenberg hot dogs that can be found at multiple locations throughout the park. Burgers would have been okay, not great, but okay, had they been hot. Now, we found this issue at a lot of places at Kings Island. It's almost as if the heat lamps they were using weren't using heat bulbs. Now, with the drinks at Kings Island, or rather probably all of Cedar Fair Group, cups are thin, offering no insulation at all. Ice melts almost immediately. It was hot. It was like the heat index was over 100 degrees. You are allowed to refill every 15 minutes, though. They're nowhere near dishwasher safe. They have a barcode to scan at drink stations, and it looks fairly easy to scratch, meaning be very careful with them. They're a sticker, they come off, you can scratch, it can warp in the heat, so these cups are not the best thing to have. I would suggest putting clear tape or maybe clear fingernail polish over the barcode, but I'm not sure how that'll affect the scanning of the code, which already takes quite a bit of time and backs up the line. If you've done something to protect the barcode and it works, or if you know what happens if the scanner can no longer read it, please let me know the results in the comments below. I'd also be super careful when hand washing these things as well. If you store them in a backpack or something like that, again, be very careful. Those barcodes will probably scratch, or those stickers will come off completely. Now, Kings Island boasts having freestyle machines. There are very limited number of freestyle stations in the park. There is one over near the Soul Spinner and the Adventure Express, and then one over near the K&I Depot. The K&I Depot one, most of the time, was not open. It's weird at the park because the park opens at one time, but not everything opens. So different things open throughout different times of the day. Some of those being refreshment stands. So it's a little weird. Everywhere we went, though, the machines were running out of ice, and the freestyle machines in particular ran out of drinks entirely on several occasions. Using drink sleeves I had left over from the Six Pins band merchandise seemed to help with the ice, but the drinks still went flat very quickly. After a few days, I began to wonder if it was their machines and not the heat, ice, or cup combo. Right now, we're at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. As you can hear the roller coaster behind me and the pool on the other side of me. I'm not having the same issue. So I'm guessing it is the calibration of the machines over at Kings Island. Hailed as the best place to eat in the park, we tried Miami River Brew House. It just went down. This place had indoor seating, which is at a premium in Kings Island. Most places do not have indoor seating at all. Heat index over 100. That air conditioner felt great. It seems to also be on the healthier side of things, with meatless options as well as Kings Island salad that was pretty big. That came with feta, cranberries, peanuts, and a vinaigrette. It was very filling, cold, and refreshing on an over 100-degree day. Dana had the London cod sandwich. And she said the fish was good, but the power slaw was very tough because it had kale in it. However, without the power slaw, she said the sandwich would have been very dry and lacked flavor. It also had a slice of American cheese on it, which she found odd. Now, I did point out that the fish fillet sandwich at McDonald's has cheese on it, and when Wendy's has their cod sandwich, it has cheese on it. And I think Burger King, when they have their fish sandwich, it has American cheese on it too. So maybe not quite as weird as she thought, but not necessarily a gourmet meal. We then made our way over to the Chicken Shack, which had, you guessed it, chicken. Strips or sandwiches. I'll say mine was dried out, pretty flavorless, almost rubbery. Having worked in fast food in the past, I could tell by the color of the chicken breast, the fried chicken breast, it was served well past its hold time. Not to the point where it would make somebody sick, but it was past its prime. Now you can request ranch, Caesar, or honey mustard dressings to put on your salads or sandwiches. Again, I'll say loudly, you can request it. They didn't have anything but Italian dressing. So this was 6 p.m. on a Saturday. I'm not sure how much good it will do to request anything when you're there. Dana had a Caesar salad, but guess what? There was no Caesar dressing. Fries were pretty good. Same fries as everywhere, but their heat lamps seemed to be working, so they were much better and seemed to be a little bit fresher than what we got over at the burger place. Another issue we saw there were very, very few places with indoor seating, as I pointed out earlier. That is at a premium. There is no escaping the heat anywhere in this park when you're trying to eat. In the outdoor seating areas, they didn't even have fans. It was still very hot. So by our third day there in June, we were searching for another place with indoor seating. Enter Grain and Grill International Kitchen. Grain and Grill is a bit confused. According to King Island's webpage, it's Eastern European / Mediterranean fusion. Entrees like shrimp skewers did lean a little towards the Mediterranean, but the honey sesame beef, it screamed Asian. The honey was a bit too sweet though. Not horrible, but a bit too sweet. I think the flavors probably would have worked a little bit better with a chicken than with beef cubes, but it was okay. I mean, a little sweet, but okay. Sides included mac and cheese, fried rice, Brussels sprouts that had a sweet glaze, a bit sweeter than balsamic, but tangier than teriyaki. Very good, but couldn't quite put my finger on the glaze. Here again, the temperature of the food was a concern, especially with the shrimp. But 14 hours later, there were no casualties, so we were hopeful that it was okay. And now we're a couple of days later, and no one's gotten sick, so it was okay. The temperatures, like I said, they were off, but the food was still edible. So we've all heard the phrase, when in Rome, do as the Romans. I feel like this doesn't apply to Cincinnati. Mason, Ohio is very close to Cincinnati, Ohio, and they have a specialty called Skyline Chili. I've never had Skyline Chili. I thought I'd give it a shot. These places are all over, and it is specific to the Cincinnati, Ohio area. So again, we decided we're going to give it a shot. Now, before heading north, we had only heard it was chili over spaghetti noodles smothered in cheddar cheese. Skyline Chili is cheese, spaghetti, chili. And chili that tastes weirdly like cinnamon. That's all I knew about it. The noodles might be a bit odd, but not too bad. Spaghetti sauce has kind of a similar flavor profile, so why not, right? Well, Skyline Chili has beef, tomato sauce, cinnamon, allspice, cocoa powder, and cloves as well. Now, all apologies to the folks from Cincinnati, but it was unanimously hated by our group. It's not good.
Oh, tastes like crap.
Okay. What do you think about your Skyline chili? Oh. Okay. So, cinnamon, clove, allspice, and cocoa powder make up the chili for the Skyline chili.
Sentence, you would have thought that was a dessert.
I have no idea, but this is the worst thing I've ever tasted. We'd have been very upset had we used more than one of our diner's meals on it, but we did that just to try it. Everybody took a bite, and nobody wanted to eat the rest of it. I think I may have taken 2 bites because I was trying to figure out what the spice was when Dana pointed out cinnamon. I said, no, there's something else in there, and I took a couple of bites, and then we looked it up finally. I figured out cloves, she figured out cinnamon, and then when we looked it up, we found cocoa powder and allspice, and it was over from there. I don't recommend it. Give it a shot. You may love it. It was weird to me. Later, Dana and I shared the burnt ends at Coney Barbecue. Not expecting much, but we were pleasantly surprised. Of course, it could have been cooked slower and longer to help render the fat better, but the meat was tender, barbecue sauce was sweet and smoky. Although a little too sweet, the sauce you can get at the condiment stand did serve to cut some of that sweetness, and the roasted potatoes were pretty good once a little bit of salt was added. On our last day, we hit the water park and, of course, used our dining plan again for lunch and dinner. A couple of us wanted to head back over to Enrique's, with it being the best choice for the entire time at the park, but I wanted to keep trying as much as possible, if for no other reason but to attempt to find a standout meal aside from the Skyline chili that stood out for all the wrong reasons. We didn't eat at the water park itself because all they had was standard theme park fare: burgers, fries, chicken strips, and hot dogs. So the last place we tried was on the way into the water park from the entrance of Kings Island, and we stopped at Tom and Cheese. Now, as the name suggests, it is a grilled cheese place. Nothing fancy, but if you have a picky eater, it's a perfect place to go. They only have 2 options for the dining plan: the classic grilled cheese and the barbecue bacon grilled cheese, both of which were decent. I mean, it's a grilled cheese. Kind of hard to mess up. It's not a gourmet grilled cheese. It's just a standard fare grilled cheese. The menu was a bit larger, but nothing else was included in the dining plan. Neither were any of the sides. So we had choice between 2 sandwiches and different flavors of chips, but it was sandwiches and chips. If you wanted a different side, you would pay an upcharge of about $2, which we could have done. Didn't really see the need to do so. So, as I said, none of the sides other than chips were included in the dining plan, so you don't really get to experience the Tom part of the Tom and Cheese, which is, of course, going to be like a tomato soup. Again, not a fancy grilled cheese, but again, great for kids. It's also located just outside of Planet Snoopy. The front part of the kids area is Camp Snoopy. You go around and it's Planet Snoopy. Camp Snoopy is an expansion of Planet Snoopy. So you don't have to drag your little ones through the park to find something that they're going to enjoy. Just head right over there, head out the back of Planet Snoopy, and Tom and Cheese is right there. We did not snack much at the park. Being on the smaller side and staying so close to the park, we did make our way back to the RV for that need whenever it arose. Also, with heat indexes well above 100, appetites weren't just weren't that big. We didn't find a major standout, but Enrique's seemed to be the collective favorite, even though it was just pretty good and nowhere near amazing. Overall, I've been to parks with much better food than at Kings Island. In fact, right here at Cedar Point, we're finding some really good dining options here. So, Kings Island isn't the best place for food, but you'll find some decent stuff, edible items that'll keep you fueled for your day at the park. But even the food will not be the reason to go to the park unless you live close by. And then, you use the dining plan, and after I think it's like the 4th meal, you're saving money on food overall. So you won't be disgusted, you won't go hungry, but you are not going to be enthralled by anything that they have by any means. Roller coaster. So I hope this information helps you in deciding where to eat while at Kings Island. If I missed a hidden gem, please let me know, as We do have the season pass and only 4 hours away, so we may make a return trip up here when we're simply looking for something inexpensive to do. Load up the RV, drag the car up there, and hit on a couple roller coasters and eat a little bit of food. If you like the original music that I've used in the background, you can find that on your favorite streaming app or right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, even share this with your friends. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you down the road.
Let's hit the road.